Live from tape, pre-recorded at our studios in Austin, Texas and Portland, Oregon. It's Syndicated with Leslie and Ben. Hey everyone, I'm the Ben of that.
And I'm the Leslie. This is a twice monthly podcast about television, genre, and storytelling in which we watch an episode of a show and explore the history of television one episode at a time.
And before we continue with this episode, we need to invite another guest into our dreary manor. Now that sucks. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep it in, but it does suck.
Keep it in. It doesn't suck. It was beautiful. Beautiful.
I had a number of puns that I had ready to go, but I'm deciding to abandon them all.
No, that was such a good one.
Max, thanks for being here. I know scheduling was a real castle, but thanks for showing up.
A real castle?
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. That's it. I don't know. I'm sitting here now after listening to that, and I'm like, shoot, my podcast doesn't have a cool intro like that. So now you've already got me on like my back foot.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll throw this out there. You can start with an intro starting with the next episode. Anyway, Max, you of course make a video game music podcast, which I think is going to tie in nicely with what we're talking about today. You want to tell us a little bit about OS Team?
Yeah, it's me and my buddy Ash. We meet up ideally every 2 weeks, and we pick a topic. Usually it is a like specific type of music in video games. You know, we've done things like chill video game music. We had one that was this one's a little out in the weeds, but it's specifically like leitmotifs or common themes that are reused in battle music in video games, and the way that comes up. We have also started branching directly into specific series. Like we did an entire episode about music from Castlevania games. And we did, Did you just do a Dracula blah in response?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Oh, no. You don't think I have more of these? Once again, thanks for being here. I really appreciate you bringing this show to us because it whips.
Great.
This is amazing. Now I feel like we need to re-record all of our old stuff just so you can put puns in there.
More puns?
He'll find a way.
I feel like we haven't done enough puns on this show.
And you can ugly bet that this show is going to be fun. No, this.
I don't like puns. Just in general, if I can avoid them, I try to. So don't go out of your way on my behalf.
Remarkable, then, that we've known each other as long as we have. If you're just now joining us, we're talking about Castlevania, the Netflix original animated action series set in the gothic universe of the fantastical and vampire-plagued Wallachia. The show ran from 2017 until 2021 on Netflix, which means it's weirdly one of the longest-running animated shows that Netflix has done. I say that in comparison to those shows like, what's the one with all the robots that get together? Voltron and She-Ra, which managed to both compact 5 seasons into 2 years.
Oh.
She-Ra began and ended within 18 months, and I don't think enough people noticed that.
Yeah.
This show, a season a year, like it's supposed to be. Anyway, characterized by its excellent voice cast, fluid animation, and gratuitous amounts of blood and violence. Castlevania tells the tale of 3 vampire hunters, including Dracula's own son, attempting to kill the Dreadlord and prevent a vampire war against mankind.
Yeah, I probably don't need to tell you that Castlevania is based on the popular video game series Castlevania by Konami, which started on the NES. While this show is not directly adapted from any one video game, it borrows lore elements and characters from several hit Castlevania titles, including Symphony of the Night, Dracula's Curse, and Curse of Darkness. This franchise, in combination with Nintendo's Metroid, is responsible for the creation of the Metroidvania subgenre of games.
Which is my favorite. Big fan. Max, I'm sorry, I've never played a Castlevania.
Oh, really?
I have.
Huh.
I have, however, played every Metroid game.
Sure.
Wow.
Even like the original version of Samus Returns for the Game Boy.
No. Okay,
Called
almost
out.
every Metroid. Almost every Metroid game, and I have played Ghouls and Goblins, but I've never played a Castlevania.
I
Well,
love.
Ghouls and Goblins
Well, if you
isn't a
played,
Metroidvania.
yeah, but if you had played Ghouls and Goblins, you would have liked Castlevania.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. I just weirdly never have. I like the way Dracula looks, and I love that one Discord meme that makes fun of the Dracula speech. But I've never played one. But I played like what weirdly is like the sister series of it. Um, the combination of those two creating that genre of games that includes, among other things, like Hollow Knight.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, weirdly never touched, literally never pressed start on a single Castlevania title. I'd like to change that, but they kind of stopped making them.
They did, but the good news is anymore on like modern systems and even PC, I would argue the best one. The people will take issue with that, but come on over to OS Team where you hear more hot takes because I lay them down about like this. Symphony of the Night's the best one that you're going to be able to find easily.
I have largely heard that to be the case, yeah.
The music in it's phenomenal. They foolishly redid all of the localization and voice work, so it's not the same experience. You don't get the incredible "What is a man? Nothing but a miserable pile of secrets," but it's still a phenomenal game, and I would argue, outside of Super Metroid, which was the true like first Metroidvania type game. Symphony of the Night was the first time that it really felt like they put everything into it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, went all out, for sure.
Yeah.
For context for the listener, when I say they kind of stopped making them, I just double-checked. There were 11 Castlevania titles between 2000 and 2010. And in the last 10 years, in comparison, there's been 3.
I can talk about that. I can actually discuss that if you'd like, because I have pretty strong feelings about Konami these days.
Is it because they largely stopped making video games and now they've pivoted to NFTs?
No, the NFTs are especially new. Konami pivoted to pachinko machines a few years
I didn't know
back,
that.
and basically realized that their licenses were valuable as branding for pachinko machines, and they were getting so much more money from those gambling boxes than they were from actually producing any of the series that people wanted to play, which is why we haven't gotten a new Silent Hill, and they essentially forced Kojima out, although Hideo Kojima is his own thing.
Right.
But this is a 100% a Konami slander chat as long as I am present.
Please, they're a corporation and we don't owe them anything.
That's right.
Speaking of which, Netflix is still in trouble in my household from the Chappelle thing, so I pirated this episode. I don't give a shit. We don't know corporations anything.
That's right.
Patreon.com/Infinity Break. Every dollar helps. The franchise, it's been in decline, but not because like the franchise's fault. The company sucks.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Why make a video game when you can make a fancy roulette table? Leslie, do you have any familiarity with the Castlevanias? Sounded like you might have.
Yeah, I've played a few of them, but it's been quite some time since I've played console games. So like the early ones, the very early, the early ones, and when I was a child.
All I know about the early Castlevanias is the "What a terrible night to have a curse" or whatever that line is.
Oh yeah,
Which is something I think constantly whenever I my back hurts. What a terrible night to have a curse. The show is executive produced and written by Warren Ellis, a comic writer whose work you may recognize in Transmetropolitan, as well as characters like Moon Knight and Iron Man. Ellis's work on the show has been a bit of a sticking point with fans, as shortly after the 3rd season of the show, Ellis was credibly accused by multiple people of inappropriate behavior within the comics industry.
Huge bummer. It's a big bummer. Really disappointed.
Turns out he's a massive piece of shit.
It always is.
He's already working again. And
Of
I'm
course he
being
is.
vague about what he was accused about because I want to start talking about Dracula, and I don't want to dwell on this too long.
Yes.
Yeah,
Anyway,
let's and anyway,
It sucks. So Dracula,
also sucks. There.
yeah, I guess.
but oh, technically correct, the best kind of correct.
Vladimir Sepesh, that's right. Dracula is played by Graham McTavish, whose previous tangle with vampires was on the AMC Preacher series, where he played the killer of all saints.
And that is the saint of all killers.
Excuse me, you're right, the saint of all killers.
Did you? Those are slightly different things.
Yeah, my bad.
I mean, Killer of All Saints is actually way cooler.
Incidentally, and no one cares about this, but I'm going to say it, I've based a D&D character on just the way Graham McTavish looks.
Really?
Yeah, he looks awesome.
Yeah, that was my guy Eden that I used to play on Speak of the Devil when that show was still going on the IB network.
Trevor Belmont is played by Richard Armitage, who starred alongside Graham McTavish in the Peter Jackson Hobbit series. McTavish played one of the dwarves, while Armitage played Thorin Oakenshield. I gotta say, he does a really good job on this show.
The cast of this is so good.
Oh, yeah.
Those two in particular, for sure. But like the cast overall is like great.
I agree.
Speaking of which, James Callis plays Alucard, the reverse Dracula with a magic sword. Video games are good. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
Callis was Dr. Gaius Baltar on Battlestar Galactica. Baltar, excuse me. I don't watch that nerd shit.
Well, whatever. I got to meet him once in one of, I think I've told this story already, maybe. I don't know. It was one of the times that I crashed the ATX festival parties, and like the cast of Battlestar Galactica was there. And I spent most of my time with James Callis and Jamie Bamber because they were the only two people who were outside smoking like the entire time.
You can't keep telling me you've hung out with like Alucard.
I
can't
did.
keep telling me you're like,
For
yeah,
ex-
so here's
for an
another
extended
cool
period-
celebrity I know.
For an extended period of time. He was really cool. I like James Callis a lot. So anyways, video game voice actor Alejandro Reynoso plays Sypha, a magician from a traveling group of storytellers. Reynoso is in a number of major AAA games, including most recently last year's Far Cry 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of cool credits. I
Yeah.
guess it's not just that. Also on the Winx Club, which is an animated kids show, of course. Not something I claim to be super familiar with, but also like I see Just Cause and I see Red Dead Redemption 2 as well.
I was just saying, she knows what she's doing.
For sure.
She's good at this job.
Since it's not often that we get to talk about the score of one of the shows we're covering, the haunted music that accompanies Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard on their quest is by Trevor Morris. Although I know we're going to get more into that music a little bit later, because Max, I know you picked this particular episode for a reason.
I did.
Last but not least, the episode that we watched today is Season 1, Episode 7, For Love. Belmont, Sypha, and Alucard are finally in a position where they can storm Castle Dracula, just as the Dark Lord's fortress is under siege from vampiric soldiers sent by the vampire lady, Carmilla. What follows is an epic battle between Trevor and Sypha against the Vampire Legion, and Alucard against his own father. While they're equally matched, Alucard and Dracula's fight comes to a standstill once Dracula realizes the mistake he's making in killing him and Lisa's son. I'm killing our son, Lisa.
Killing
our
boy.
son. Killing our boy.
We painted these walls, we made these toys.
Toys.
Your greatest gift to me, and I'm killing him.
You could make that rhyme if you wanted to.
Oh, sorry.
You could rhyme toys with boy.
I'll go back to the drawing board on that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Max, I got 2 questions for you.
Okay.
1, why Netflix Castlevania Dracula? Which is the full name of the show.
Because that show is very good. And 2,
Well put.
because
Eloquent. I love it.
yes, honestly, I feel like if you're looking in sort of general terms at video games being translated to other media, I feel like Castlevania is the perfect blend of a fan service side as well as things being done in the service of storytelling, so that, you know, in terms of like the way that things always inevitably get cut when you're dealing with material that's being adapted from one medium to another, I don't feel like they necessarily cut anything of drastic importance except for the sort of like noble thief Grant, who is supposed to be the fourth member of the little group, because this whole show is based off Castlevania 3, where Trevor goes to all these different places and frees the different people who will help him fight against Dracula. And there's the fourth one, who is Grant, and he's my favorite because he can climb on walls. But anyway, I gotta say, I think that it's my favorite video game adaptation. It's definitely my favorite animated video game adaptation. And so when you said something about, you know, doing a, you know, that you do this podcast, I was like, oh, well, I love Castlevania, the show, and I can talk about that.
We went a long time without having any good video game adaptations of anything.
Yeah.
It seems like the tides have turned recently.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but I know people enjoyed that Sonic movie.
Yes.
I liked it.
You liked it?
I liked the Sonic movie. I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't expecting to like it, but I did.
Well, I have a streaming platform that it's on, so maybe I'll give it a go.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's a fun little movie. You know what? I might pivot and say that Arcane, just in general, is probably a stronger series.
Hearing a lot of praise for Arcane.
Yeah, it's very, very good. It's incredibly polished. But I also don't know that Arcane gets made without Castlevania.
I mean, I think a lot of future projects... What's the turning point? It's Detective Pikachu, isn't it?
I don't know that Detective Pikachu turned as many heads as you'd think, because they already like full-blown scrapped a sequel. Like, just quietly scrapped it.
I'm sorry, I look like I just saw someone get shot.
Yeah, you look devastated.
I'm sorry to break this news to you in such
Don't
a way.
shoot the messenger.
The light drained from my eyes.
Yeah, that was horrifying.
I just watched a man
witness.
die on stream.
That definitely could have belonged on Watch People Die Inside.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh, well, that's about... I guess I meant, like, I don't know. That feels like the transition point where, like, no, we're actually going to try.
Yeah.
Because I'm contrasting that with, like, fucking Jake Gyllenhaal, Prince of Persia. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There was a time where it was like, yeah, sure, whatever. We'll make a fucking Prince of Persia movie for you.
I think that this was probably my favorite as well of the video game adaptations onto the screen that I have seen. This was quite a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you choose this episode in particular? Because this is season 1 season 2 episode 7.
You could probably combine season 1 and 2 into one like concrete thing, because it's 12 episodes total between the 2 seasons.
Okay.
So I picked this one because this is, to my knowledge, at least within the first 2 seasons, the only episode that has actual Castlevania music in it.
Okay.
When Sypha, Alucard, and Trevor walk into the castle and they have their cool "I'll terrify them," Sypha, you disorient them, Alucard goes over the top and we support him. As soon as they jump into action, it starts playing Bloody Tears, which is incidentally a theme from the second Castlevania game, which is the What a Terrible Night to Have a Curse. So I think it's funny that they decided to use a theme from the game that it wasn't based on. But that being said, it is it's a damn good theme, and I felt like if I was going to pick any episode, I'd pick the one that matches with my brand.
Okay. All right. That's fantastic stuff. So, Ben, how are we feeling about this show and its entry into our season of adult animation?
Well, I think it's interesting because it's not... I think it's interesting because, like, no shit is it our first video game adaptation that we've watched. It's the first show we've covered at all on this program that isn't a comedy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we did our
This
first
is
season on
true.
workplace comedies, and now we're on adult animation, which is not confined to comedy.
No, but it skews comedic. Yeah, it skews comedic very, very often. And that's one thing that I caught myself noticing as I was watching this episode. I texted Ben and I was like, "Well, that was bleak," because from what we have ingested thus far, uh, it's all been comedy. It's all been funny stuff. So to think about this being adult animation, not because the humor is blue or because they're trying to shock people in that way, but because it is just so hyper violent. Really interesting to me. I mean, it absolutely qualifies, but mostly because it's really violent and not because they tell stupid jokes that, a teenager's idea of a grown man would laugh at.
Right. It's not farts and fuck jokes.
Yeah.
It's excuse me.
Yes, Ben, that's what I was trying to say.
I actually, Scout's honor here, did mean to say fucks and fart jokes, but it really does work either way.
Farts and fuck jokes. Come get your farts and fuck jokes.
Here's the thing, we can't get that on a t-shirt. But anyway.
No. Sad but true.
But it is Dracula getting stabbed through the wrist. It is people's mouths leaking blood. It is multiple scenes that I was cautioned in advance by a very diligent friend of eye trauma. There's a lot of demons just ripping into corpses.
Decapitations.
A lot of There's a pretty big decapitation in this one.
There's a pretty big one in this one.
It is interesting because no kidding, it's the first non-comedy we've covered, but also we've really not, even with that in mind, not that I expected any of the comedies we've covered to be like action oriented. It is interesting that we're covering an action show.
Yeah.
And contrasting it with what we've already covered is interesting, but also I'm mentally contrasting it with what we can cover in the future, because this is technically an anime.
Yeah, it is. It is an anime.
But what's to stop us from... There was discussion with adult animation when I was like workshopping with guests, like, what would you want to cover? And like some animes got tossed in. I'm like, well, but why don't we just do a full season on anime? And then like, if you take away the national distinction of came from Japan or not, technically many animes aren't they are also adult animation? You know what I mean?
The term anime is just to say animation, but from like in Japanese, essentially.
Right.
So it is anime just technically because it exists as a form of animation. This wasn't made by Japanese people. I believe it's Powerhouse that made it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're American. So the style is very heavily anime influenced, but I think you could call it Western animation, and I don't think you'd be wrong.
Yeah, for sure. Much of the art based off of the Yami Kojima art for past games, like the box art and character designs.
Yeah.
For those characters. But yeah, it's just interesting that like you said, it's just the term. You know, there isn't necessarily an implied national distinction there, but also that is mentally how we categorize it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking like, well, what's to stop us from covering, say, another Netflix original, Great Pretenders, in this season?
I would say that being how you are the ones that run this podcast, nothing is stopping.
Right. Like this is our house. We could do whatever the fuck we want. That's kind of the cool thing.
You could say that you're only doing adult animation, and then you could do like a stop motion animated show.
That's very true.
You could do an episode of a live action series like Community that is done in animation, like the Christmas episode.
I had actually considered bringing up, oh my God, I don't remember the name of the show now, but it was one of the first computer animated shows
Reboot
for adults.
No. Is it the weird sex one?
Mm.
There's the one that was on Sci-Fi that was like super sexy and weird. The main character's like a space trucker, basically, and he's purple and he's got.
It was yeah. It was called Tripping the Rift.
Yes.
Yeah.
No clue what this is.
It's
Anyway,
weird.
it's a ride for sure.
So did y'all want to talk about the episode?
Yes, absolutely.
We don't do that here.
I mean, we use the episode to talk in broad strokes about the show, to talk in broad strokes about the genre. But yes, we do actually want to talk about the episode. Yeah, no, but I do. Yeah, I think it's interesting, like the weird dividing lines that, like, for some reason, I mentally can't label this as an anime, even though it is. But it's just, it's not. Anyway,
Yeah.
the dividing lines are weird, but I guess that's what the show's about, is the dividing lines. Yeah, let's talk about For Love especially, which is mostly action sequence.
Yeah. I have never seen this show before.
Would you watch it now based on this
Yes.
single episode?
Yes, I would. I absolutely would. I think that this was a fantastic episode because I was able to understand what was happening fairly clearly, based on the dialogue. So yeah, and it was really captivating, and the animation was gorgeous, and I loved the score, and I loved the angsty mercy killing whatever, the way that Dracula's like, I must be dead already, blah. Like, I eat that shit up. Like, it was amazing. So I think it was a really great episode. It was beautiful. I couldn't wait to talk about it.
Leslie, wonderful news. That's the whole goddamn show.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, then I am thrilled to watch it. Can't wait.
So I was really struck upon rewatch, because I hadn't watched this episode for a while. At the beginning, when they're all standing around in the ruins of the Belmont vault, and Trevor's like, yes. Trevor's like, this is gonna suck. We're gonna have to climb. This isn't. And then Sypha just kind of rounds them all up and raises them on the ice pillar. There is a sequential look at basically that is sort of the thesis statement for each of those characters. They each have a beat or a moment as they're elevating that as I was watching, I rewound it because I was like, hold on, does that? Because Sypha, her whole reason for being on this is she wants to help people. That's her entire focus, is to help people. So she's the one that gets everybody on the circle and makes the ice pillar go up. She's actively helping them because that's her focus. Trevor wants to realign himself with the greatness of the Belmont House and wants to sort of pull that name out of the mud. And you see him look over at the painting as they're rising up and kind of change the way he's standing so that he's a little bit more like that Belmont warrior who's in the painting. And then the last thing that happens is Alucard's face as they're going up, and the blood red of the blood moon shines down over it, because that's what he's about. He's about killing Dracula. The only thing he's there to do is kill Dracula.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that, and that's really insightful. The bit where the castle doors open and just that sea of water floods out with the moon reflecting into the water.
Yep. Really good moment. Really good moment.
Listener, you didn't see the chef's kiss I just made, but Mamma Mia. Me looking at the blood moon, that's a spicy meatball.
It was.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
No, it's great. Hey, Leslie, we finally ran into that problem that we've been talking about over the course of this entire show, which is what happens when you just stumble into the plot.
Yeah, I had no clue what was going on.
Yeah, I guess we bumped into that with Ugly Betty and Ted Lasso as well, but this really, we did just, this is essentially the big emotional crux of the first two seasons.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I do also feel as though, as a standalone, I was able to completely understand what was happening. I understood everyone's motivations. There was dialogue in there explaining that to kill Dracula would be to save mankind. I get the stakes, no pun intended. I understand, everybody's motivations. I was not lost at any point.
Leslie, thank you for saying that. I can now cross one of the puns I had pre-prepared off of my little list.
That was not intentional. That was, just me being a brilliant genius.
It's okay. I appreciate the stakes of the show. Delete, delete, delete. Okay, cool. I'm still saving. Let's not get too batty for later.
Oh my god.
No, yeah, the stakes are really clear. I think if this were your first episode, which again it was, I think the only thing you might be confused about is who the hell Isaac is, which is the gentleman who Dracula throws into a mirror.
So that was the only part that I will say at the time I was like, what the fuck was that about? But so much else had been offered to me that I was like, I would go back and watch the rest and find out what's up with this guy. Obviously something going on. He's not happy with him.
It's really interesting. Yeah, well, Isaac and Hector are actually Isaac's the main bad guy and Hector's the main protagonist of a Castlevania game for the PlayStation 2. And so Curse of Darkness.
Oh.
It is it's kind of it's a Metroidvania, but it's also kind of a Pokemon style.
Okay.
Because basically you fight monsters, and when you kill them, there's a chance that you will gain them as a familiar, because they're Devil Forge Masters, so you get devils. And then the devils give you different abilities. Sometimes they give you like weapons and things. So a lot of that classic Castlevania, like exploring the map and unlocking 215% or whatever it is that you ended up having to get full completion in Symphony of the Night, is done by collecting just this myriad group of devils,
which are creatures that we're going to see, Leslie, if you decide to watch the show, creatures that you will see a lot of in seasons 3 and 4.
Okay.
These like real just fucking Cronenbergian like beasts.
It's really interesting how good of a job they did. So like the two of you, between you, don't really have a lot of the knowledge to make the fan service aspects of the show kind of pop out. But a lot of the beasts that they have are actually monsters from the series.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah. So like when they're fighting in a previous episode, they're fighting in the vault of the Belmont family, and there's the big kind of bony bird looking guy with a spear. That's Slagra, I think. He's in like all of them.
Oh yeah. I know about those ones.
Yeah.
In the same way, once again, I'm a Metroid enthusiast. In the same way I would recognize Ridley.
Sure.
Yeah. Or like I was like, oh, I know that to be a Castlevania type kind of guy.
And then I think in the 3rd or 4th season, somebody summons Legion, and that's pretty wild. But anyway, we're talking about something else. But in terms of those like fan service things, the ones that I really love are watching Alucard just absolutely body like 20 vampires using most of the abilities that you get over the course of Symphony of the Night. Except for the flying sword. You never get a flying sword in Symphony of the Night. Well, I guess you do. There's a familiar that you can summon. It's just a sword that follows you around and swings at dudes from time to time. It's not very good, so it's not super memorable.
I gotta say, one of my favorite moments in this is when he unsheaths his sword by moving the sheath, and the sword stays where it is. That shit rules.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Then he says, "Begin." Like, there's nothing harder when you're about to go murder a bunch of some of the deadliest creatures that have ever walked the face of the earth than being like, here we go. Like, they're not calling out. The vampires are secondary, potentially tertiary. At this point, they know that they need to get on the other side of the vampires, but they're not really worried about much more than how they're going to get to the other side. There's
Sure,
no like
they're just
if.
they're just an obstacle at that point.
Right.
Yeah. Appreciate the absolute confidence of just saying, well, anyway, we're here to kill Dracula. We got to get through these fuckers first.
Yeah. It's the same kind of energy as Captain America in the elevator when he says, before we start, does anybody want to get off? Like, this is your last chance type of thing.
Right.
I legit do love when like action characters just like call a shot like that.
Yep.
I love this world. I love we just started watching Witcher season 2. Which I think is pretty similar. I mean, kind of no shit. They're both like Slavic Gothic stories. Wallachia, or versus Poland. Just something about like this world is full of terrible monsters beyond your comprehension that can be killed if you know how to kill them. But if you don't know how to kill them, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that I like that kind of story. I like that kind of world. I like how this place is always just soaked in mud or blood, or it's always night. There's thatched roofs. There's everyone looks like they've seen the worst thing they possibly could in the morning.
Yeah,
Everyone's eyes are sunken in. It has such a gross, not just this episode specifically, but the whole show, just
series.
Such a gross gothic vibe. Everyone just looks worn down by living in monster Romania.
I feel like in terms of the vibe that I get watching this show, obviously the settings are wildly, vastly different, but the vibes that I get watching this show were similar to the vibes that I got watching Aeon Flux a long time ago. Like, it gave me the same feelings of general hopelessness within the universe, and the sort of dystopian feel of it all. Just great stuff.
To be a villager.
The animation is also very similar between this and Aeon Flux. There's
I agree.
Angular, sort of long. Everybody's very lithe.
Everybody's very chiseled.
It sucks to be a villager in these worlds.
Yeah.
If you don't have your ancestors' magic sword, you're kind of screwed.
That's true.
Some of us don't even have ancestors with cool swords.
Right.
Both my grandparents were fucking engineers. What swords do they have?
I had a great... I have an ancestor who came over on the Mayflower, so like...
Any swords?
Thanks. Probably not.
It'd be a lot cooler if they had swords.
It'd be a lot cooler if they
did. A lot of religious judgment. They probably would have been the ones that got taken out by the sky of raining blood in the first episode.
Right.
Yeah, more than likely. I love how the vampires work. I love how the vampires look. Leslie, how do you feel about actor Peter Stormare?
I don't know that am I supposed to have feelings?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you like The Big Lebowski.
Who is he in The Big Lebowski?
Or Constantine. He was in Constantine.
I never saw Constantine. Who is he in The Big Lebowski?
He's one of the nihilists.
Oh, the one that's not Flea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, okay.
He plays a Viking vampire in season 2.
Oh, really?
That's right.
Fantastic.
A vampire who's a Viking.
Yeah, his name's Godbrand.
That's dope. That's incredible.
He's also in Fargo. He's Steve Buscemi's sidekick in Fargo.
The one who's not Flea in Fargo as well. Yes.
Yes.
In fact, I don't think he's been Flea in anything he's ever been in.
Yeah, he's never been Flea as far as I've seen him.
Honestly, he's still working. We still have a chance to make him Flea at some point.
That's true. It's never too late.
But I love how the vampires work. I love how the vampires look, that they each come from like a different culture, that they like, they don't just like dissolve, that they like explode on impact when hit with holy magic. I don't know. I like how they, again, I like the world. Dracula just feels like an all-timer when it comes to like that level of villain. It's the level of
Yeah.
like just like raw magical brute force that you like want to see out of Sauron if he was in that movie for more than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's that, when you think about, um for those who play tabletop RPGs like D&D and stuff like that, you have these enemies a lot of the time that are not affected at all by non-silvered or non-magic weapons. And you're like, what does that even look like? And then you watch Trevor punch Dracula in the face like 5 times. And
Yeah.
Dracula's like, oh, you're the Belmont. I gotcha. And then
Oh,
just
yes.
takes him out with one punch.
That was alarming, seeing our heroes spitting up blood and stuff in an animated show. It was
Yep.
awesome. It was awesome. I'm definitely going to watch more of this show. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, please, and much like Righteous Gemstones, please do text me through it.
I definitely will.
I might give it another go. Yeah, more so than to say like, oh, it's weird to see them like spitting up blood in an animated show, but like for point of comparison, I largely wouldn't expect that in a live action show.
Yeah. From the protagonist, yeah. There's a lot of plot armor when you're a protagonist.
Yeah. Unless it was The Walking Dead or an HBO show, I wouldn't expect to see blood at all in an action series.
Sure.
And it's just kind of weird to think of this as more hardcore than
need to watch more anime.
Apparently, I do. Well, I'm excited to eventually do a whole season on anime.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to.
Well, you'll have to call me back for that because I watch a lot of anime.
Yeah.
Let's see. I do have a. Oh, and obviously, it goes without saying, I find the entire sequence that takes place in Alucard's bedroom to be like genuinely heartrending.
Yeah, that was some good shit. I felt very emotionally manipulated during that time. I love that shit.
So here's a toxic trait of mine. I hate in action media and action scenes when the hero wins by like a technicality. I like to watch, even if the hero like takes their licks and kind of gets the shit kicked out of them a little bit, that's fine. But I want it to be clear that good is triumphing, and Dracula having a change of heart because he realized that he's beating his son to death is good triumphing, but I'd like to have seen Alucard get the upper hand and show that he, it's that idea of like evil loses because of the righteousness of good. And I feel like that's important. And like I said, there is that righteousness of good that comes from the human side of Dracula coming out when he sees what he's doing, like when he finally sort of clicks what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have liked to have seen Alucard really get his licks in, even if it turns around and he gets like knocked out into the room. At no point in time did I feel like Dracula's losing. I was just
right.
He's getting hit now. He's really taken some hits. Alucard's doing sweet. Oh, this is a total tangent, but it struck me last night. This is the only show that I have watched in a long time that had 2 consecutive instances of a teleports behind you nothing personnel kid happening in like the same fight scene. When Alucard teleports behind the smoke lady and cuts into her, and then she's like, haha, I'm smoke, and then she teleports behind him and attacks him.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. I guess like you're not upset necessarily, but you're you don't like that Dracula loses because he concedes.
Right. I want
he wants. I think that what he's trying to say is that he wants Alucard to like get some credit for this, like because it feels like it could have been anybody. The way that Dracula gave up, conceded. Was it really necessary for it to have been Alucard? Although the argument here is that while it might not have come in like brute force, it was because he was his son. because he
Right.
was like, I'm killing my boy. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, that's how the
really,
line's delivered too.
It couldn't.
the show's great, y'all.
like a wrestler.
It couldn't have. It
Look
couldn't
at how
have
I'm
been
massacring my
anyone but
boy.
Alucard. Yes, exactly that.
Right.
It couldn't have been anybody else, but I wish that the way that they showed that it couldn't have been anybody else was more Alucard making a breakthrough rather than. I feel like my big problem is it's just luck. If Alucard had been like visibly plotting, like, I need to get him in my room, I need him to see, I need there to be an association, but this is literally just Dracula beats Alucard's ass into the absolute worst place for him to win that fight.
Yeah.
Which for point of comparison, like, Vader has a change of heart, but it's like after he loses another limb to Luke.
Right. And he's actively he loses a limb, he gets the crap kicked out of him. It's abundantly clear that Luke is the better fighter at this point. And then Luke gets sucker punched by Sidious with the lightning, and as Luke is being actively killed by Sidious and tortured, that's when Vader finally is like, he's killing my boy. And so that's the moment, and I feel like we needed Alucard to get that, and
there's the changing of heart and the kicking of ass.
Right. Yes. Okay.
Also, I think that it is patently hilarious that this place that they are fighting in, Dracula's castle, is like physically absurd in terms of where
that's true
everything.
Too. I loved it. I mean, I loved how convoluted it was. I was wrapped in it.
But what I love about it is how Trevor and Sypha are like, oh, I can hear them fighting, they're above us, and then it cuts to them one floor above them in an iron foundry that has a walkway that is pouring like molten iron.
Look. So once upon a time, my fiance and I were watching DuckTales, and he was asking a lot of really esoteric questions about how are they capable of doing this and how are they capable of blah, blah, blah. And finally, I just had to turn to him and I said, they're talking ducks, babe. So this is, and from then on, anytime he would do something similar with any show or piece of media, I would just look at him and say, they're talking ducks, babe. So that's how I also feel about the layout of this property, and how they're able to, I just shrugged and said, they're talking ducks, babe. We're just gonna go with it. Just go with it.
I don't remember what it is in Lord of the Rings, but I try to watch Lord of the Rings at least once a year. And one year during a marathon, like, someone asked, like, are we just supposed to believe, like, yada yada yada? To which I replied that, yes, it's literally a magic ring. Like, yeah, of course you are.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yes, you
like
are.
when Sam pulls on the rope and it falls. We're just supposed to believe, yes.
Yes, you are. That's
how magic works.
That's how magic works.
Hey, man, it's for fun.
Yeah.
So I have to say, very interesting and cool to have our first episode in which there are zero jokes. No jokes to be found in this one.
No
folks.
jokes to be found.
There's the joke where Dracula says that Trevor is clearly the Belmont, which is like that, like, wink and a nod, like, oh, you Belmonts are all idiots. You're punching Dracula. And then he beats the hell out of him.
I did like that. That was, but that felt very more badass to me.
It's true. Ooh. Yeah. It was.
Oh, so you're the little bug that needs to be squashed, is what I heard when Dracula was like, so you're the Belmont. So I was like, okay, damn.
The end of your line.
Right.
Yeah, instead of favorite jokes, and then we'll cut to our socials and all that. Instead of favorite jokes, what's a video game franchise that you would like to see get a similar treatment?
Ooh, a treatment this good? I think that the problem. Oh, I have an answer. But I think that the problem, not to go on a tangent, with this particular industry, the video game industry, and people adapting it onto film and television is that it's like so much of the time people feel like there has to be a humor element or a light element to it. And Castlevania has clearly proven that that is not the case. It's a fantastic show from what I've seen, and it is definitely devoid of jokes and yucks and all of that kind of stuff. That said, to get a similar treatment to this one, Chrono Trigger 1000%.
You've said
That's my
the magic
favorite game.
phrase.
That's my favorite
Yeah.
game.
That's my favorite game of all time.
Nice.
That's my favorite video game.
You should listen to OS Team.
Maybe I will.
Cross promoting.
It's probably a little basic of an answer, but I'd love to see Zelda.
Oh, that would be really cool. Your answer is really good.
Not with this level of violence, obviously, but I would love to see Hyrule like illustrated like this.
Yes, depicted in such a reverent way.
You mean you don't like the 90s cartoon?
No.
Well, excuse me.
No, weirdly I don't. No, nor. I mean, because like people have been talking about like, what if they made live action Zelda, whatever for forever? I'm like, but what if it was just maybe it could be animated?
Yeah,
what if it looked good.
Animation is good. Animation is important, and it's also for grown-ups. It's not just for kids.
That's what we're trying to prove. Max, how about you?
Oh boy, I don't know. I've been burned so many times by so many different things that I don't, even after how good Castlevania and Arcane have been, I don't have enough faith that I really think that the stuff that I love could be pulled off super well. But
this is like pie in the sky in an alternate universe. Come on.
No, but Max, I hear you. Jake Gyllenhaal, Prince of Persia 2. I'm with you.
Oh,
it's tough because there's a lot of stuff out there that I truly love. You know what? I think that a series like this, I'd like to see God of War. God of War is one of my favorite franchises.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And especially with the growth that the character has shown over the games, and the like sort of progression from nu metal to folk rock. I feel like that is a really good opportunity for someone. I mean, I think that you'd have to do something interesting with it. You couldn't just have it be, here's the events of the God of War games, because so much of it is dictated by Kratos going from place to place murdering things without any real, NPCs.
With each of these, I don't want to see a single individual Zelda game adapted.
Right.
I want like this where it's a pastiche.
Right. You want the world. You want the lore. You want the overarching umbrella of all that is Zelda.
Twilight Princess visuals, but the story of Ocarina, whatever, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Mix it up. Bring in this character who wasn't in that game. I don't care.
Right. I hear you.
Max, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Where can people find you and your show?
You can find me on Twitter. I am at DMMoax, MOAX. And my show, OS Team, is through the Encyclopedia Network. I'm sorry, it's a different network that I'm plugging on here. I don't know if that's a taboo.
That's the point.
I'm new to this.
You're doing great.
But you can hear us on Spotify, Apple Music, probably on like specifically podcast apps and things, but I don't really...
Wherever you get your podcasts.
That's right, yeah. And that's it. I don't want you to have access to me outside of that.
That's beautiful. I love somebody who's got boundaries. Just, live your boundary moment, okay?
That's right.
Folks, my name is Ben Hamlin. You can find me online at Ben C. Hamlin over on Twitter.com, where I'm always talking about all sorts of nonsense. You can check out my other show, Parascience, a exploration of the supernatural and unquantifiable if you like vampires. Although a vampire has not yet appeared on the show, who knows? That may change someday. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts and at infinitybreak.net. In addition to that, Leslie, by all means.
Thank you. You can find me on Twitter at Vanetti, where I am also tweeting about all sorts of nonsense. Right now, I am taking a wee break to reset my synapses, but I'll be back soon, and that's where you can find me.
Hell yeah. You can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Infinity Break. You can, of course, check out all of our work over at infinitybreak.net, where we're telling stories our own way. A number of wonderful shows on that network. And of course, you can follow this show at Syndicated WLAB over on twitter.com, where we are frequently posting Seinfeld memes for whatever reason.
Because they're
But anyway,
great.
lots of fun TV discussions happening there. Wonderful episode. Excited to talk about Dracula. One of my favorite things to talk about, period.
It was pretty great. I had a good time. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Leslie and I
Thank
will
you.
see you all in 2 weeks' time for another adult animated show.